Good God day to you all, my friends. Super stoked about today's lesson of Hey You, Get Out of the Porta Potty. And we're going to start it with repeating the quote from the top 5 video that was last week because it's such a good quote, even though I don't really know who said it. And that quote, once again, is, if you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. It's like getting in your car and completely ignoring that you have a GPS. Not a great decision. But once again, I can tell you, no one when they woke up ever uttered these words, hey, I hope to grow up to be an alcoholic. Hey, I hope to grow up to be a drug addict. Hey, I hope to grow up to be a porn addict. No one ever had that dream, but because they didn't know where they were going, they began to drift. And then they surrounded themselves with people who didn't know where they were going, and they drifted together even further than they ever thought they would go. So today's relation shift deals with the leading theory in human motivation. The leading theory in human motivation, which is what allows you to be creative. Because you were born by the great creator and you're meant to create. You're meant to be motivated in this world where so many people are withdrawn, so many people are demotivated, so many people hope that you don't look them in the eyes and say hi, because then they'd actually have to interact with you. I mean, heck, studies have shown there's a lot of people who are actually glad that there was coronavirus and it gave them an excuse to not interact with anybody. And that they could sit in their house all day and it gave them an excuse. Very sad. So today's relationship video, number 5, deals with something psychologists refer to as self-determination theory. Self-determination theory. And this shows us kind of where we need to go as people, where we need to go as people, and who we need to be as people. And basically it deals with 3 main ideas. Number 1, idea of self-determination theory is we want to be good at something. We want to be good at something. So if you're in a relationship, do you know what that person's thing is that they want to be good at, and are you helping them get there? Example, I know my daughter loves this new Canon M50. I know she loves editing on it. She's doing a great job, but am I helping her be good at it? Because people want to be good at something. And it's not sitting around watching football all day or playing fantasy sports or not living their life. They want to be good at something. For me, I like being good at motivating people. So I read books on that and I go out and practice and I learn from the greats. The second thing that people really, really want, and you're going to learn this in the next video, Mission is King. People want to be authentically who they really are. People want to be authentically who they really are. That one is just crazy right now. We live in this world of social media and pretending on steroids. And I always like to tell people the lion never has to tell anyone they're the lion. People ask me all the time, they say, John, you lead a very interesting life. You travel to USA, you speak about being the best self, you interact with people in many different countries, and I never see you post anything ever really, besides on my one LinkedIn account, which it's all message-based. The lion never needs to tell anybody they're the lion. We live in a world where it's pretending on steroids. People want to authentically be who they really are. So in your presence, are you giving people permission to be authentically who they really are? Because we were born to be who we really are, not someone else. And on a side note, does anybody ever confuse you for Jesus? Because when they confuse you for that, you're leading a really great life. And number 3, people want to be surrounded by people who encourage them. People want to be surrounded by people who encourage them. Is that too much to ask? We live in this hypercritical world. We live in this hyper-complaining world. We live in this world where leaders believe to be a leader, you got to be hard on people. And we live in this world where parents, to be good parents, they got to be hard on their kids. They got to be hard on them. I've never been hard on my daughter one time. 20 years old. Says, Dad, I want to change the world. I want to save the world. I know what her dreams are. Encourage her best self. So people want to be surrounded by encouragers, not energy trainers. Summary. People want to be good at something. People want to be authentically who they really are. And people want to be surrounded by encouragers. I want to leave you today with one of the great questions that's ever been asked of me. Many years ago, I identified 2 people I wanted to have lunch with. One was Pope Francis. And I actually believe that I'm worthy to where someday I could meet him. Pope Francis, if you're watching this, I'd really love to meet you. And the second one was a gentleman, a father, a man who's on mission, one of the greatest people I've ever met, Matthew Kelly, author of 40 amazing books that will change your life. Well, as fate would have it, I didn't get my lunch with the Pope, but I landed a lunch with Matthew Kelly. I now work for him, which is just crazy to me. But I was kind of giddy the day I was having lunch with him. And I said, okay, Matthew, I'm living out a dream right now. I'm having lunch with you, and I have admired you from a distance for so far. Thank you so much. And he turned it around to me. This is your kind of second bonus relationship lesson for the day, besides self-determination theory. He said, John, why don't you live your life in a fashion to where someday somebody picks you? Blew my mind. And at the end of the day, it wasn't some mythical formula. It was just by living right that I got that invitation to go to lunch with somebody someday because they wanted my wisdom. So the relationship for the day, self-determination theory. Number 2, why don't you live your life in a fashion that someday, I'm asking someone that question 5 years from now, and they say, I want to have lunch with blank and blank because they overcame adversity and they were so focused on their relationships and they changed the world. And one of the best ways of changing the world, getting that invitation, is remembering Matthew 5:14 through 16. You are the light of the world. We can't do this channel without you. Please hit subscribe. Please spread the word. Please hit the bell, or you'll never know when Kaylee and I's Wednesday weekly video comes out, and we need you to know.
Do the people you love know how much you love them? If not, reach out and tell them. Better yet, show them how much you love them. Please hit like and subscribe.